Hello and welcome to the Journeys in Fandom podcast, episode 13.
Unlucky for some.
It is the
Is
review.
it lucky for Doctor Who?
Ah, yes, because it is the review of the third 60th anniversary specials, the Giggle. We're back again. Seems like only yesterday we were sat here talking about it.
Yeah. 3 times in 3 weeks. This is a new record. And a Herculean effort by Tim to make this possible, because he's been getting out like the next day, which is unheard of.
Yeah, we're doing it again tomorrow. I might be a bit later tomorrow because I've got to go out in the morning, but we'll get it done.
Yeah, the fact we're able to do these episodes is basically one shot. So just right. We haven't talked about it beforehand. We haven't made eye signals. We haven't planned anything. This is just right. What do we think? Yeah,
and hardly any editing needs to be done. So we're pretty good at this now, aren't we?
Before we start, we had some feedback from our last episode.
Oh, yeah.
And they said they missed the grumpiness because when we're enjoying things, we're not as fun, apparently.
We're not being as grumpy. We need to be more grumpy, is what I'm hearing.
Yeah. So apparently, old men that shout at clouds is the new standard. So, Alex, this one's for you, buddy.
That's what gets the ratings. We're going to have to lean into that a bit more.
Yeah, and apparently, of the two of us, you are the grumpier one.
Oh, well, I am older, so I suppose that...
Well, yes, yeah. Admittedly, no one locally will believe you're older, because apparently I am older than time itself.
Oh, yeah, there is that.
It is a running joke that I am ageless. I am eternal. But hey,
that's quite timely for this episode, talking about ageless things.
Yes. So the Giggle. Before we go,
yes. Oh, so you go first, because I think we might be on the same
wavelength. I was going to say, before we get to the big thing, let's talk about all the other things, shall we?
Can we talk about the ratings for the previous episodes before we even get that far?
Oh, yes.
So I've got them here. So the consolidated +7, that's what it's called, ratings for Star Beast is in. So that's 7 days watching. So basically iPlayer catch up.
Yeah.
So it got total 7.61 million with the extra ratings stuck on top of it. Still, so it's up 43% on Jodie's last episode, with those added ones stacked on top of it. Wild Blue Yonder had 4.83 million, so that's a down 0.25 on the Star Beast overnight, which is kind of what we expected. It was going to go down. Yeah.
And actually, we thought it was going to drop more than that because the initial hype, and then obviously you drop down, and then hopefully for the third one you then pick up. And
with all the controversy over the first epised, it was inevitably going to have people walking away from it. So it's not done too badly on those two ratings. So we'll have to see what we'll see for the final one, whether it picks up anybody or loses people. I'm kind of predicting it will pick up because it's a regeneration episode.
Yeah, and like we said, Christmas is going to be the big one. Can it do the lofty heights of, what they used to do?
It's got to beat Jodie's first episode, which was 10 point something. So it's got to get above 10 to do any good.
Yeah, and he's double figures, and that is a hell of an ask for a TV show nowadays.
Yep, live TV show. Yeah, interesting. So yes, they're the ratings.
Yes.
Right, how are we going to tackle the Giggle?
Okay, first impressions. What did you think? I thought Neil Patrick Harris was awesome.
Yes.
However, I'm going to asterisk that. I wanted more of him.
Yes.
I think. Okay. My initial feelings of the Giggle. Why was it an hour? Why wasn't it 2 parts? Why wasn't it all 3 episodes? It should have been longer.
Yeah, it felt rushed, really rushed. And you could argue it could be 3 episodes. It should have been more than 1 at least.
Yeah. And to be fair, all 3 episodes have felt that. There's been building. Oh, look, end.
Yeah.
And that's the vibe, because I thought, you could build him and he could be a real problem, and suddenly it just was Act 3, and we go, oh god, it's done. We're here.
He could have woven his character through 3 episodes. It could have had separate stories, but they could have all been weaving and interlinking, and he could have been popping up in the background and stuff. That would have been really cool if he was just there, just as a figure in the background all the way through it.
Yeah. And when you're basically dealing with a godlike malevolent entity, it needed more. I thought the Spice Girls dancing in Unit HQ was awesome. I'm here for that.
I liked it.
You weren't here for it, were you?
No. I liked it, but what took me out of it was it reminded me too much. It felt like a rehash of what he's done before. So the Master did a dance to music. John Simm's Master, and even I always forget the actor's name. Last Master did a dance to music. And especially the John Sim Master, it felt the same scene, just rehashing it again. So it was good. Don't get me wrong, and it was a funny scene, but at the same time, it was again, in an episode that's that short, that scene was quite long. It could have been cut.
So suddenly you're going, well, 20% of my episode is him dancing, which was awesome, but at the same time, it was long.
Yeah, I think as well, again, it needed more than one episode, because the bit when they're in the corridor of doors, that felt really, it felt like a bolted on thing. That could have been an episode in itself, just been trapped in his domain. That could have been episode 2. That could have been Wild Blue Yonder, hit them trapped in this weird sort of sub-universe. So that felt bolted on and rushed to get to the end point.
What did you think of the puppets?
I refer to my Stephen Moffat. I've got an idea. I'm going to throw it out there and hope it sticks. Again, they were there for a second, and it was quite funny watching Donna kick the shit out of them. Yeah. But it was an idea that was wasted. It could have been an episode in itself, having creepy puppets. And it was just like, oh, well, that's gone. Like the guy who was made into a puppet with awful CGI, yet again. We'll get to that in a minute. Could have been an episode in itself of John Logie Baird, his sidekick, and being made into puppets. That was a Doctor Who episode crying out for like an old school timey-wimey Doctor Who episode. But it was like, oh, we'll just bolt that on and try and make it work.
I thought the practical effects for the puppets were really good.
Again, like Wild Blue Yonder with the big arms, really good. And then the CGI David Tennant. Is it just me? Is David Tennant's CGI just doesn't work?
No.
It was like the other guy was all right.
CGI him. He goes, yeah.
It's just like,
it's a puppet doctor. And you go, no, it's not. I don't like it.
It's really bad CGI again. It's just like, 3 episodes of bad CGI and good CGI.
Isn't that a Doctor Who classic, though?
Maybe it's like we've only got so much budget. We'll dial it down just so that people still have that realism. Yes. So again, there was lots of really good ideas, but it felt like someone had just been sick on the screen of ideas, and they were all kind of just there. And it's like, there's no coherence to all these ideas.
I thought that the bit where they're saying where everyone was going mad and like politicians were included, and it's going, why should I care about any of you lot? We're going, that's standard. That's nice the UK government.
Nice little
and
jab.
The jab was there. Yeah, it was beautiful.
The jab was there. And also, there was something about him saying, "Oh, humans cancelling each other online and stuff like that." That was a nice little jab there as well, wasn't there? Yeah.
Admittedly, the government joke, as soon as they mentioned it with a press conference, I thought, I know exactly what joke they're going to make, because if they don't, that's just bad.
It was telegraphed, like it was coming. You could tell it was coming. It was nice to see the TV woman was back. The newsreader woman from all the previous series had her own show. I thought that was quite cool. So that was a nice little nod. So that wasn't too bad.
What about Mel, Bonnie Langford's return?
That was interesting, because I kind of half knew she was going to be in it because I saw a photo. I think they released a photo quite late. But it was nice to begin with, and I'm going to juxtaposition this as a big word for Saturday night. He didn't make a fuss. It was like, oh, it was Mel. And it wasn't this big kind of dramatic music-led reunion like we've had with Sarah Jane, or maybe because it's just the significance of who Mel is. But it was just kind of like, oh, there's Mel, and they had a chat.
Yeah.
And I don't remember. I remember how she left vaguely, and they kind of told that story. But I never remembered her being that scientifically orientated. But obviously she's got older, so I suppose she's travelled the universe. You could argue, but it was quite nice because she just fitted in, and it just kind of worked.
Yeah, and it was a nice interaction where you just sit next to her, going, "Oh, hello." That kind of
because that's kind of how it is sometimes when you meet someone you haven't seen for ages. So that was quite nice, and the Donna interaction with her was good as well. So that was kind of, and then they talked a little bit about the companions and stuff on their own. So it kind of worked that. And I know she's good, and and there's lots of things about this, but she is going to be in the next series as well because there's a series of her and Ncuti. So, but I'll come to that in a minute. But it was good. It was just like, oh, it's Mel, and it's like, oh, that's quite good.
When did Donna get so good at being a secretary? Or the typing thing.
Oh, it's a running joke, isn't it? I think even way back to series 4 about her when she went for the job with the adipose.
Yes.
And there is a running joke about her and her typing speed, which again is good. And her job negotiation was quite cool as well. I thought, little there were little bits like that, which is like, oh yeah, that's quite cool. I quite like that. It's quite nice stuff. Unit were what they were. Just a bit. I don't know. They are a means to an end. So
I thought when they took the inhibitor band thing,
that was good.
Kate Lethbridge Stewart, that took a dark turn.
Yeah.
And you go, oh yeah, that's that. Oh yeah.
Yeah, that was done well in terms of a nice little piece of acting there. So that was a nice example of how it works. That was good. It explains how. I didn't really get what the alien robot thing was. They didn't explain that. It's like, oh, that's so and so, and then you didn't get any more about it. Is it an alien? Is it a robot? Because I was like,
there's
no
big
idea what it
that
is.
sits in the corner and sorts it all out.
Yeah, so
and it reminded me of the Men in Black, the first one. Where they go, oh yeah, we've got these two like twins keeping us on 36 hour days. Here's a random robot.
Yeah,
just had this vibe.
It was like
what?
Flick or Frizz or whatever its name was, but you never really explained. Feck, the robot.
Yeah, might not be called Feck.
But it's just like, oh, okay, right. Yeah, I think because it was moving at breakneck speed.
Yeah,
that it didn't stop to explain things.
Yeah, and that's our problem because you've only got an hour to fit everything into. It's like the beginning. There's this nice build up. You go, I bought a toy. I need a toy to do this. Yeah. And then you go, oh yeah, that's really cool. Oh, it laughs while it's burning. Yeah, that's nice. So the intro is a nicely paced, and then suddenly it just gets quicker and quicker and quicker, and then suddenly, bleh.
Yeah, my son watched it with me, and it's quite nice watching it through his eyes. He lost track of what was going on. About at the unit explanation with when he got the giggle and explained what it was. He was just like, what's going on? I don't understand. Why they do it. You could tell because he's asking more and more questions, and so he lost it at that point, and then took a while to catch up with what was going on.
What, 7?
Yeah. So he understood the principle. He didn't get everything, don't get me wrong, but he lost what was going on because it was just it was moving fast. And what's that robot? What's that doing? Why is he doing that? And it's just like, even I don't know what's going on at this point. It's just getting a bit.
Yeah, what's the robot? Who knows?
Who knows? They've just passed it. They just glossed over it. What else? I wanted to, obviously we saved the last bit till last. There were lots of things thrown in. So we had He Who Waits.
Yeah.
That's future foreboding for something. So we don't know what that is.
The Master.
The Master's in his gold tooth. You missed that bit. So that's something else. And the woman's hand picked up the gold tooth, and that was obviously a nod to the last time a woman's hand picked up something to do with the Master. So the Master's now free.
The fact there's an entity, the Toy Master, which is a cosmic being of godly powers, goes, I don't fancy that.
Yeah, so that's obviously something.
You think, all right. Yeah.
There was one point that I thought, they're going to do it, and I was just like edge of my chair and I stepped back when he talked about trapping the Master in his tooth. I thought they were actually going to go, when he mentioned the Master, I thought they were going to actually go down, the timeless child, that was all me, I just messed with your head. And they didn't do it. I was like, that was the opportune moment to rewrite the timeless child there by saying, I captured the Master and I became him and I've been manipulated you for years. That would have been brilliant. They could have rewritten that whole entire nonsense with one line, but they didn't do it. The opportunity was just there, just to
and again,
gloss over it and rewrite it.
Yeah, like the whole flux thing they leaned into again.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
that was good. It was quite good watching Amy Pond. Yeah. That was good. That bit when he goes, but Amy Pond died, and what was his phrase? And his accent changed. Well, that's okay, all right, isn't it, or something like that?
Yeah,
that's okay.
Well, that's okay then.
Yeah. And that was brilliant. So, just going.
Yeah, she died of old age. Well, that's okay then. And Clara died. Oh, she lived to the last moment. Well, that's okay then. What about Bill? Yeah, she's fucked as well.
The flux, just for your reference, because you did see it, and they've again glossed over this. When they say the entire galaxy was destroyed, they mean everything except for Earth. So there was one shot when the flux was going across the galaxy of like Saturn, Jupiter, all the major planets in our solar system being destroyed. So they're not there anymore. The Sontarans were killed. The Cybermen were killed. The Daleks were killed. Every major race was killed. So, and they've doubled down on that. So what are they going to do? How are they going to explain that away in the future? I have no idea. But again, it's another thing where it's like, have they written themselves into a hole a bit there? But that was nice.
There's going to be a big undo button when they just go, well, actually, or they'll just not care, or they'll just forget.
Yeah, that's it. The whole concept of the Daleks keep coming back and back and back and back and back is just because no one cares. So that was the toy maker in general, and Neil Patrick Harris was great, and the way he just kept changing his accents I thought was quite nice. It's quite a nice flip in between.
And obviously we both watched Doctor Who Unleashed,
I skipped through it, and there was hardly any, because they bigged it up as this thing that was going to explain lots of stuff, but really it wasn't. It was just like 2 or 3 minutes explaining the regeneration concept, which wasn't anything we didn't really glean anyway.
It was interesting when they were talking about the Toy Master and his origins of obviously celestial meaning Chinese, which is why it's a white guy wearing a classic Chinese outfit. So the whole thing is based off of racist ideals, which is then they've brought that into the Toy Master, which is why he says, you look probably used to more like temperate climes kind of thing. He's going, I was born in Chiswick, mate. Or Cheltenham, whatever it was.
It's the well, Doctor Who's always been like that, hasn't it? The kind of comments like that either fall really well or they fall like Star Beast, flatter than a pancake, and sometimes they work and sometimes they don't work. Also, you keep calling him the Toy Master, which reminds me of some Jeffrey Draft from Toys R Us. Toy
Maker. Bloody Christ. Oh, God. You can tell me, wait. Toy Maker.
Just a giraffe, just a giant giraffe. Anyway.
I think I've got Master in my head. I keep going, Toy Master.
Toy Maker.
Yes,
no. So there wasn't much more on Unleashed other than just kind of how they filmed it and stuff like that. But it's a bit lightweight, if I'm honest.
Yeah, make your boy's job experience when I skip that crap. just tell me how you did it. Tell me what's good. Give me some behind the scenes stuff.
Yes. Plot wise, it might have been me, but there was a plot hole that kind of glaringly obvious. So they made a big deal about that really weedy laser thing at the start, about how we needed to power it up and they needed all those people to aim it. So they had the guy in the turret and the people holding the tubes. But all the power and the controls were coming from inside the building. So when Toy Maker is sitting on the gun, having pushed all those people off, which was quite a funny kind of line, why didn't someone just walk in and switch it off from inside the building? Because if you look, that's where What's-Her-Face was controlling it and doing all the targeting. He was doing the joysticks, but someone could have just turned the power off, flipped the fuses.
Deus Ex Laser, I think.
I know you have to turn your brain off, but I'm sitting there going, why didn't they just turn the power off? It would have been fine.
But I was the opposite. I'm going, why do you need a little man sitting on it when this is a calculated shot that you can hit? If you can hit a mouse on the moon Why isn't little man there rejoicing, going, I've got this boy, don't worry about it, I'm going to aim. You go,
It's like,
this is literally like aimed from space. Why don't get it?
We need some way to kill the Doctor with a giant laser. Right, this is how we're going to do it.
Yeah,
now we're going to write backwards from that to work out why is there a little seat on this laser gun.
Yeah.
Oh, yes. Every so often, you kind of have to turn your brain off. And also, I don't know, I shouldn't laugh, but the way they disguise Wilf in that first bit by having some random old bloke in the background with his hands over his head off, just like, I know why they did it, and they talked about it last week and stuff like that, but it was a bit awkward, and it was like just little things, but can't be helped, and that's not their fault.
Before we go on to the
thing,
considering that was shot in June 2022 and it's now December 2023.
Yeah.
The fact that we didn't know the entire storyline and hadn't had it spoiled for us is testament to the new way of doing things.
Yeah, I'll give them that. There's certain quotes that I read from RTD bigging up things that were not real. So he bigged up the fact that the guy going into the toy shop in the trailer was someone really big, and it turned out to be nobody. He bigged up a scene they filmed outside with the Doctor and somebody else, which no one spotted. Well, what was that? There wasn't anything, unless it's both of them standing together. There wasn't anything else. So I think maybe he either got overexcited and just been bigging it up when actually there wasn't anything, or he was deliberately bigging up things that weren't real. One or the other. You could argue it's both. Yeah,
and I think actually that's subversion, because again, in the old like Moffat era, the BBC had more holes than Colander.
Oh, so
we would have had the whole episode. Literally, it would have been in a bloody trailer.
Yes, it would have been. Yeah, you'd have like when they spoiled the Master coming back, John Sims' Master, and it was just like, it's just ridiculous.
And the big thing that we'll talk about in a second would have been in the trailer.
Yeah, and everybody would have known about it.
Yeah. Yeah, the fact they had a closed set, there was minimal staff, yada yada yada. You go, well, actually, that's good, and you kept it under wraps for a year and a quarter, or a year and a half, whatever it was.
Because really, all we got was those photos of those scenes at the start. My son said, "What's that all about?" I said, "That's just London at a weekend, mate." So that's all we got. We didn't get anything else.
Also made me smile. You can tell it's part funded by Disney.
Oh, yeah.
The Avengers Tower. I went, what? What's going on here?
I'll tell you what, though. For every good piece, we have to talk about CGI, but for every good shot and stuff like that, some of the camera work in that was just weird. There was some really odd shooting, especially that final scene when it was them versus him. It's just really badly shot, where the camera was trying to be dramatic and over the shoulder, but it was just... I can't really see what's going on, and it's a bit weird. It just felt like they were overcompensating at times. And when he was going and had a mini meltdown telling the unit about how humankind's really bad, it was kind of like over here, then it was over here, then it was over here. And it was like, I'm getting old, but I really can't follow what's going on.
They're trying to do it for impact, and the classic way of doing it nowadays is just so many cuts, go.
Yeah, it's just like
a well shot scene and a well delivered dialogue is far better. Stop trying to add levity to a scene that already has it naturally.
Yeah,
because just let him do his thing, and especially when you've got like an actor like Tennant or Neil Patrick Harris or if you've got good actors who can just go, do you know what? I'm going to give you a monologue, mate.
Yeah.
If they can monologue like a champ, then let a monologue.
Modern Doctor Who is built around the monologues. At least one Doctor, even Jodie, has a monologue that kind of works. And they don't need 100 camera angles of the same thing. It's just them talking to screen or talking to a character or whatever.
But they're trying to add things and make it different and new, and you're going, well, you're just making it bad, mate.
Yeah, we don't like new, we like old.
Yeah.
Speaking of which...
Yes!
Can I just... And I haven't got the audio clip, and I really should have the audio clip.
Yeah.
The fact that we predicted that 100% and then dismissed it. Because do you remember, I read that on a Facebook post about bi-generation, and we laughed it off. and said it's not going to happen. It won't happen. That's just bonkers. That's someone. So where that post came from, I can't even tell you. It was a random Facebook post. You know when you get Facebook and you get those pages that are promoted to you? It was a random Doctor Who fan page with an image on it saying, this is what's going to happen. He's going to bi-generate and the Doctors are going to go off and do their own thing. And we predicted it 100% and then we discounted it. Yeah, so I think that's a victory for Journeys in Fandom there.
Yeah.
We predicted it. Your idea would have been better, and I will give you what I would have done had I been forced to do that in a minute. So yes, 2 Doctors in 1. What do you think?
I don't know what I think. I think right. Okay. When you write a set of rules for a universe, the universe must behave via those set of rules.
Correct.
So if they'd have mentioned this mythical bi-generation at least once, just once, and said it's a possibility, that would be fine. But, it was just weird.
Yeah, I liked it and I didn't like it.
Yeah.
I liked them interacting.
Yes.
But I didn't like the end reason why they did it. So, this is how I would... If I was told, right, we're going to split the Doctors up and you're going to get 2, I would have had 14, Tennant's Doctor, die at the end. Just like finish the regeneration or something weird, something like that.
Yeah.
But not have him hanging around. So they could have interacted together and then suddenly he could have gone, I'm feeling a bit unwell or something like that. And then he just, and then it's this bi-generation thing. Yeah. I like the concept of that. And his reasons in Doctor Who Unleashed were, we never had a freshly regenerated Doctor interacting with his older self. And I thought, I quite like that.
Yeah.
But I would have liked to have seen 14 die at the end of that episode fully, but still had that interaction exactly how they played it out, except for the stupid TARDIS thing, but I'll come to that in a minute. And let him die. Because so this is where they've, again, and I don't know how they're going to do it, but they've written themselves into a hole now. So what you've got a fully functioning Doctor, not meta Doctor or any of that nonsense, living on Earth with a fully functioning TARDIS, and we know for a fact that Ncuti Gatwa's Doctor is going to be on Earth with Mel in the next series. So what they're going to do, 14's just on his holiday, or every time they come back, 14's, he's just out down the shop. It feels like, once again, and it was nice seeing all the puppets go across, they haven't got the balls to kill off David Tennant twice. So they've written it in such a way that gives him a happy ending, in inverted commas, without the balls to get rid of him because they've already killed him off once and don't want to take the shine off that. And the idea, the concept of them both together was good, but they should have killed him off at the end and drawn a line under it, because now they're forever going to have the spectre of 14 on Earth doing something else there, unless they go parallel universe.
Even then they said, he's got a fully functioning TARDIS, but he's not going to go anywhere. And you go, all right. And he goes, but I've been quick trip to Mars.
Three times.
Yeah, literally, mate. This is like dinner the next day. You've already nipped off 3 times because you were bored.
It's
because even RTD and Ali said, he goes, he is done. This is his story finished. He's going to sit at home and drink tea. Yes, but also it's still the Doctor. End of. Yeah. This is still the same entity that's done all of that stuff. Yes, he's put his feet up and he's got his smoking jacket on, but if the world is in trouble, he'll just go, nah, mate, I got this. Don't worry about it.
And the concept is now, is he immortal? Can he die? Because he's regenerated. What happens to him as a person? Is he going to die from natural old age? Is he going to turn into Tom Baker's curator from the 50th? Is he... What happens to that person? Because he's regenerated now, or is he going to, a bit like with the hand, is he going to regenerate again when he dies? And we've got 2 15s floating about. You know what I'm like with numbers? This is another crazy number thing that's going on here.
We've now got 14A.
Yeah, essentially. So I like...
That's the thing, they've literally split, haven't they? So you just go, a regeneration happened, and the regenerated elements are 14A and 15.
He's not... Is he 15? This is the numbers again. Is he 15? Technically, he's not. He's like an embryo that's split in 2. So he's like a not identical twin of himself. It's this concept of, I've got a really crazy idea. I'm just going to do this because this is to change canon. And he made a flippant comment about fans not liking change, but it's not thought through. It's like the War Doctor thing again. It's not thought through, although that kind of worked out all right for him. It's like, we've got this idea, we're just going to run with it and just see what happens. And I don't believe they've thought that 100% through, that actually Christmas episode looks like it's based on Earth. We know Russell likes to base his stories on Earth and use a viewpoint of the companion, which is great, and I agree with that.
Yeah.
So, but he's on Earth with another Doctor who's on Earth as well. And knowing the character, and we know I think we know the character quite well. Would the Doctor sit at home reading the Telegraph with his feet up, having a cup of tea while the Earth is burning, going, that's all right, my other half, my regenerated self will sort it out, when he knows he can help? It doesn't make sense. Yeah, actually, Daily Mail. It's like Marvel when they painted themselves into a hole with the Avengers and then had to explain why the Avengers weren't coming to help in every other film when they weren't in it. It's like, shit, where's Thor? Thor's not here. He's currently on holiday, or he's in Asgard. And I don't know. I think if they killed him off and gave him a proper ending, but with that by regeneration, I don't mind that. And I agree with you. They should have at least explained it, and it would have worked. I think if they're going to do it, maybe they should have made more about how it happened rather than just being shot by a laser, and actually maybe built it into that 3-story arc that we talked about actually the toy maker wanting to do something with it. I don't know. But actually make it less of an accident, more of a this happened for a reason, if that makes sense.
Yeah. And it does also beg the question, because they've said, if you take too much damage, you haven't got time to regenerate. I hate to say it, but being shot through the chest with a space laser
that can shoot satellites out of the sky.
Yeah. And more annoyingly, when he stands up to go, that hurt a bit, there's no gaping great hole.
Yeah. My son was going, where's the hole? Where's the hole?
Yeah. You should have a hole literally here. My back symbol should be a bloody great hole.
Yeah, exactly. Even if a 7-year-old kid could say, where's the giant hole from the laser? It's like, No, for me, it was like, we haven't got the balls to kill him off, so we're going to make up some convoluted story so we can keep him. We're going to change canon because that's fun. And we're going to piss the fans off because that's fun. Yeah. And if the concept of it worked, but it was just, and my brain's sitting there going, that'll work. How are they going to do that? Oh, all right, he's having tea now. Right, how's that going to work?
And so what right, hang on.
I've got more. I haven't finished yet.
Continue. I have things.
No, you keep going.
Okay, so the reason they said they wanted to do like the sit at home and drink tea and read the Telegraph was because he'd been running for so long and hadn't stopped and was like running on fumes.
Which is a daft reason for having the same face. I'll get to that in a minute.
Yeah, which is crap, but hey. But then the next version is still in that same place.
Yeah.
So you're going, I'm going to sit and heal and get better. But your regenerated self is still in that exact same place.
Yeah. And that's...
Unless this bi-generation heals that, because he goes, I've seen what you do in the rest of your life, so actually that's going to be where I start from. And you go, wait, what? I don't know what you're doing.
That's
weird.
The concept of, oh, well, it's all right because now you can rest, but you're him and you are just leaving from this point.
Yes.
And you've retained everything about him. You've not absorbed his future to come, unless that's how they're going to weirdly. And the whole concept, is 14 going to regenerate again? Who knows? But he doesn't. It's not as if that just suddenly wipes the slate clean. Obviously, I think that's what they've implied, that by doing that, it absolves him of all the things. But no, the excuse why 14 had the same face was rubbish. It was like, right, we've got David Tennant coming back. We need a reason why he's going to face. Oh no, it's because he's really tired. Capaldi, at least they explained why he had the face of the Roman guy properly. It just felt like, oh shit, we've got to explain why David Tennant's face is back. We'll just wing it, and then it's like, that'll do. We won't make it really like like the villain getting involved. We'll just say he's a bit tired. And it wasn't as if he came to that conclusion. It was Donna that told him, oh, maybe that's because why you're a bit tired. You've got the same face. It just felt like a cop out. Another we'll just write that. It'll be fine. No one will notice. Yes. I had more.
I think while you ponder upon your moreness, the big question: did the miniseries feel like a celebration of 60 years of Doctor Who?
No, absolutely not. In no way did it feel like an anniversary series. Even though we already said it was never going to be a multi-Doctor thing, it didn't reference. Fair point. Not that we wanted it to be super self-referential, but it didn't reference anything. It didn't celebrate the history. It felt more like disconnecting from the history and going on its own way. That's actually, for me, it felt less about Doctor Who years gone by and more about this is what we're doing for the future. Because
and actually, thinking in that respect, they've parked Tennant on Earth and have gone, actually, we have parked Doctor Who up until now is done. It is ended. That's where it ends with 14.
Season 1.
15 is a brand new thing.
Yeah.
And looking at it that way makes far more sense.
Yeah. I think this was less about celebrating the history more than about disconnecting from the history and starting again. And I don't like that. I think I wasn't expecting it would be nice to have celebrated what's come before, good and bad, what's come before, but they chose not to do that. And they've chosen to go a different path. And these episodes felt like a mini series of 2 mediocre episodes, run-of-the-mill standard stuff, and that one was a wasted opportunity and it needed to be longer. But we've already talked about it multiple times. Dropping Ncuti in at the deep end wouldn't have worked. It needed something to bridge the gap.
Yeah.
Supplementary question then for you. Has David Tennant tarnished his legacy by coming back? His Doctor Who legacy?
I think if you compare these 3 specials to his previous work, they don't compare. I think when you compare like the good episodes, Blink, Family Blood, etc., they're just better than this. But again, it's not meant to be that version. It's meant to be a different version. But in this 3rd episode, it was very much that version. It was.
I don't see any difference between the character he played now and the character he played then. There's little, if any, development other than he looks older, sounds older. He played 10 again.
Yes.
But he was called 14 in name only. But he's exactly the same thing. And that disappoints me because it's not just him. No, it's not. It was written in that way. And to be honest, it was written in that way as a nostalgia grab to try and hook in those people who have left Doctor Who or become ambivalent. And, David Tennant and Donna, Catherine Tate, I remember that. That was really good. I'll watch that. It felt... The more I've gone through it and I've looked back at it, it felt like quite a cheap way of trying to get old viewers back in by the easiest way possible. I don't see any development between 10 and 14. He's the same. He's playing exactly the same character. Now, if Tennant had come in and had been written for him and he played a completely different character, that would have been better. But with 3 episodes, he's never going to do it because... No. There aren't enough development. A whole series of him playing a weird version of 10 would have been great, but we've not got that.
Supplementary question. Would the idea have worked with 9 or 11? So Chris Eccleston comes back as 14, or Matt Smith comes back as 14.
Ooh.
Would that work? Or was 10's character enough to come back as this new old version?
Outside of the storyline in the real world, no. Because they were looking, I'm being cynical here, like I said before, to grab the nostalgia factor and the Big Bang. We need something to sort of like change everything. I think we talked about it before, didn't we? About having a Hollywood actor to play the Doctor for a short period. It was the Big Bang reset button thing. So no, I don't think those two coming back would have worked. Had they come back in the story but been different, I don't know.
Yeah,
it's a difficult one
because obviously, like Eccleston's one was fresh from the Time War, was very much.
No, I don't. I think his was ignoring the fact he left and all the personal reasons around that. Yeah. He played that role perfectly for what. If you look at the continuation, 9, 10, 11, it worked because it fitted 11. If he came back, I could see Matt Smith coming back and being, because he can play old very well, Matt Smith.
Yeah.
So that
by the end, 11 was quite jaded. So you think, would it have worked if you put a different Doctor in that role?
It's difficult, isn't it? Because what might have been comes up so many times, and unfortunately, they wrote it just as if. Actually, I read somewhere. Again, whether this is true or not, I think it was David Tennant. It might have been on one of the Unleashed things or something. No, interview with Doctor Who magazine, where he said that originally. The story, I don't know if it was the 60th was going to be, or they used stories that were flashbacks to 10 and they changed it. So you could, I don't know if that was true or not, I can't remember the exact context of it, but you could have easier had 3 of these episodes that could have been a flashback to 10 rescuing 15. But then the regenerations would have to have changed. She would have had to regenerate into him. The 60th could have been a 10 Donna story based in that time period where they rescue 15 and 15 goes on from there. That would have kind of worked. It just feels for me that I don't know. It feels there's lots of reasons why they've done what they've done, rightly or wrongly.
Yeah.
And it feels a bit of a waste. And coupled with the we all live happily ever after, we haven't got the balls to kill anyone off ever ending, it felt they dodged that deliberately when actually they could have done it nice and had him die again with his future self already there and stuff.
Yeah. And like the fact that they just shot him through the chest with a laser, I was not expecting that. That caught me off guard. So they went, "Ooh, that's quite new."
Yeah, it was quite quick and there was no dramatic build-up. Bang, it was just done, wasn't it?
Yeah. Yeah, and you went, oh, wow. I thought, oh, cool, we're going to get Ncuti. He's going to come in and deal with a toy master and win the day. Oh, sweet. Toy maker. Fucking bollocks. I've got master on the brain. Yeah. Yeah.
Yes.
Toy maker.
I thought... I understand why they did it, but I thought the game of catch was just naff. It was filmed really badly. Like I said earlier, where you couldn't really see what was going on. And it was just... It felt inexplicable at times that the two doctors weren't doing what we used to do when we play catch, standing right next to each other, just tossing the ball to them like underarm. They were just lobbing it at each other. It's like, why would they do that? And I missed because it was badly filmed. I missed the bit where he dropped the ball at the end. I was like, "What? Oh, he dropped the ball. What did happen?" Because it was just really annoying.
If I may, if you're trying to beat the toy maker at catch, surely you just stand close to each other and then just throw it like half a foot in front of you and go,
"That's what I mean,
mate." Yeah, sucks for you.
Yeah. So that was lame. It was. I don't know. Maybe at that point I was just getting put off by the fact he was walking around in his pants, and it reminded me of Breaking Bad. So speaking of man in his pants, what do we think of Ncuti as a introduction? He's got a lot of energy.
Yeah, but the problem is he's a man in his pants.
Yeah, it was quite distracting, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And also, no one said it. So I was waiting for a punchline where someone would say, "And get that man some trousers," or Donna would go, "You've got no trousers." But no one. It was like no one. It's like that weird thing where someone stands in the room and no one dares say anything. And it's like I was waiting for a joke about his trousers and his pants or his junk or something, and it was like it was a classic RTD joke that didn't appear. It's like, come on, talk about his penis. That's what. Wait for the joke, and it didn't happen. Maybe I've gone too far. But it didn't happen, did it? And it was just like, oh right. Why?
Obviously, we've referenced it before of being stupid, but the toy master's only just gone. Perhaps the dimension's still working. I'm going to hit the target with a kid hammer.
Oh god!
All right.
Yeah, there it is. Grip. There's the big reset button again, but in a different form. It's just a giant hammer. But then again, that whole Doctor living on Earth lame ass story. It's just a waste of. I like his TARDIS with a jukebox. Because I had to hurriedly explain to my son what a jukebox was. He's like, "What's that?" I was like, "That's a jukebox." "What's a jukebox?" "Oh my god, yeah." It's even older than me. But no,
well, a long time ago when records existed.
Yeah, but he's got a lot of energy. I like him. Initially,
he's a youngster, isn't
he? Yeah. So he's not playing old. He's playing young. He will. I'm not going to dodge this elephant in the room. He will piss a lot of right-wing people off in America because he is going to be very gay, and a lot of those people are not going to like that at all. There'll be a lot of people raging on YouTube overnight tonight. But wow,
people raging on YouTube about Doctor Who. I can't imagine such a thing happening.
I suppose. So we roll on into Christmas, don't we? I saw that. Did you watch the trailer that came after?
Yes, with the Goblin King.
Goblins in a ship. It looks all right.
Yeah,
it should be standard fare, if nothing else.
Yeah.
So
10 million viewers. That's the key. That's what we want.
Yeah. I'll put me long-term predictions out there now because RTD seems to be revisiting old things that. The companion will fall in love with the Doctor, and the Doctor will either reject her because he's a Time Lord or reject her because he's gay. But he'll revisit that again. I can see it now. I can see it. That's what he'll do because he seems to be.
What's old is new.
He's been really revisiting a lot of stuff recently, and I can't see him not revisiting that old trope because he's done it 1, 2, how many times in the past?
Too many.
But we shall see till Christmas, so...
Yeah. On the plus side, I'm excited for Christmas.
Yeah.
And to be honest, that's all the 60th needed to do. Because let's face it, with Jodie, we were not excited.
No.
We were, in fact, barely classed as Doctor Who fans at that point.
Yeah, Christmas should be good. I'm still a little bit nervous about what's to come. I'll be honest, with the whole elephant in the room thing that we've discussed at length.
Yeah.
That thing will still cause issue if that is the route they wish to take and drive those messages home. It's going to piss a lot of people off, and there's going to be a lot of infighting and stuff like that, and I really can't be doing it, but I'm hoping there's enough stuff around that to not make that the big thing, and there's some good stories, and it just kind of blends into the background a bit.
I think... Okay, so how do you do the 2023 sensibilities without it being in your face? Because again, in Unleashed, they talked about the Toy Master and basically said this character was completely racist, not appropriate for this day and age in any way, shape, or form, and we've made sure to reference that. So this is a white man playing a white man who being a racist, and we've made sure to cover that. And you go, yeah, that's great and all, but how do you update an old trope without, for want of a better phrase, shoving it in someone's face?
I think it's Doctor Who and 2005 Doctor Who did all that. Like, look at Captain Jack Harkness as a character.
Yes.
Omnisexual, fancied everyone, slept with everyone, played by a gay actor, no one batted an eyelid because it was part of the story and didn't distract from the story by being so wooden and so obvious. Yes. I think that's where Star Beast failed, because it was continuously hitting you with the message at the expense of the story. But Doctor Who, Russell's Doctor Who, always was quite progressive and didn't need to be exaggerated. I think it was just there and you just accepted it, and it was like, okay, that's fine. Like the fact that the new Doctor is coming across as quite gay and quite camp, it just worked because that's his character. And I'm not saying it might not even reference it again, but they don't need to, because it's just there, and it is just, for me, it should just be normal as part of society. And I think when it just becomes the reason why they've written a TV show. That, like a lot of Jodie's stories, were there to deliver some message about how bad the British Empire was at the expense of what we're actually trying to talk about. It just becomes, well, I've tuned out now, I'm not interested. But if they have good stories with well-rounded, three-dimensional characters based on real-life people, real-life experiences, then they don't need to just really bang on about it. If they've got, like the toy maker, that are good villains or whatever, but are from a different time, you just tweak it and make it work. And to be honest, I hadn't really thought about that until you mentioned it when it was on Unleashed. Oh, actually, that is quite dodgy ground, but they just twisted it very slightly, changed the look of him, done. Don't have to worry about it. I think that's it. A lot of things today ramming home this message at the expense of good storytelling, and if that happens, then it just becomes, you just tune out.
I think, will we have, like in Jodie's first series, when they did The Lass on the Bus?
The Lass on the Bus. One of the seminal moments in segregation in US history, the Lass on the Bus.
The Lass on the Bus. When
Rosa Parks.
I think I covered the fact I forgot her name really well there. Because obviously they made a big thing of her companion at the time being black and the whole segregation element. Obviously, the joke is, why are all time travelers white? Because actually, if you're black and you're time traveling, it's not a fun jaunt. So will that be touched on again, or will it just be actually whatevs? I'm the Doctor, deal with it.
They kind of did it with Bill and 12, wasn't it? When they went to Victorian, and they touched on it there again. I think where the storyline calls for it, because now the Doctor's black, so that is going to be interesting, especially when he goes back in time. You would expect, and I would expect the writers, knowing the way they are, to reference that, and I think that's valid. I think they need to, because it, rightly or wrongly, and it's mostly wrongly, it is part of our national heritage in England, but also the world's national. You can't avoid it, and to avoid it and not reference it is as bad as hammering it home and making it. Yeah, I agree. I think you do have to reference it.
With the promo picture of the Doctor with a massive afro, and I went, yes, I'm here for this.
Yeah, so you have to reference something.
Yeah.
Again, but long as it's in the context of the story and the story's good enough, then it should become natural and part of the story. And if you've got character, because the thing with Rosa Parks, you had the space racist, who I can never remember his name, who was a two-dimensional character that served nothing to the plot whatsoever, because he was so two-dimensional. But if they'd actually built him into a decent character, the concept of the why he was there and the reasons for it would have been better than, we're just going to do this episode because we want to talk about this.
And I think, like you said, with Captain Jack in 2005, 6, the early years, I think another reason why that works so well is it wasn't pushed in your face, but also the world was not so divided and battle lines had not been drawn.
No. Yeah.
Because again, looking with rose-tinted spectacles, I don't remember it being like it is now. And that might be because I'm a straight white male at the age of around 40. But is it now more in the public sort of zeitgeist, or is it the fact that actually that conversation, we weren't having them then and nothing was so divisive? It's like 2005 seems like this golden era of, it was all cool, guys, it was great.
I agree. I think back then the world wasn't as divided as it is now. So not going into the political sphere, but we didn't have this, what's it they call it, populism, that kind of, where it is now very much right wing, left wing, but for different reasons than what you used to have in the history. Social media was there, but was it such a big thing as it is now?
It was in its infancy, wasn't it?
Yeah. So that was another thing that's not there. I was going to say something else that came, and also there's been this movement in TV, Hollywood, and other things has lurched very much to the left in terms of the content they're producing, and has become very focused on that diversity element for right and wrong reasons, don't get me wrong, but has lurched so much that way that it has created a void of people who feel, again, rightly or wrongly, disenfranchised by what they're seeing. And they're getting angry because there's nothing on TV now that's written for the likes of me, so I'm just going to vent on it. Yeah, I think you're right. I think really what I'm trying to say is the world is more divided now than it was 20 odd years ago.
And it's like we touched on in the past. It's not a case of it's either you're with me or you're against me. It's not you have a different point of view. It's you are not on my side, therefore you are my enemy.
Yeah, you've got to. You can't debate. You've got to pick a side.
Yeah,
there's a topic for future. Is society weird?
Yeah. Well, I think sci-fi has touched on this. I know, like the Orville with the social media planet.
Oh, I've not seen Orville. I've heard of it,
but basically they have a thing where everyone has a social score, and if you don't like what you're doing, you get a plus, and if you don't like, you get a minus. And like you literally see people get cancelled in real time.
Oh, is that not Black Mirror?
Black Mirror have done it as well, but I think Orville did it first.
You could block people,
Yeah, and you just go, well, it's just mental, but that's kind of where it's heading, almost, isn't it? Where you just go, the fact that if you have an opinion and the majority do not agree with your opinion is therefore wrong. It's like the whole, like, America is a classic. Their First Amendment is freedom of speech. But it's literally, you go, well, I've spoken. Oh, sorry, mate, you spoke the wrong thing. But didn't that line there, so I can do that? Yeah,
it's... I don't like to...
But then again, the idea of freedom of speech but not freedom of consequences, and you go, well, where's the line blur?
It is like there's a like a PhD thesis on the Doctor Who and the change of society and how it's affected. Because it in some ways, if you look at just purely the Doctor Who fandom, it's mirrored the real world in terms of the way it has been divided on this left and right aspect of, well, this, I don't agree with this, therefore you're wrong. No, I like the fact they're doing this. You're wrong. We're all going to fight, and then it's never going to get better. And it is quite like what's happened in the real life. Everyone used to get on at one point, but now they don't, because we've been forced to pick a side. And I don't like picking sides. I've talked about that before. I just want to watch Doctor Who and enjoy it and not have to fight about things.
And I think that's the thing. We're both old, or older than we were, and it's too much of an effort. You just go,
yeah, that's exactly what it is. I can't be arsed.
Yeah, but I just want to watch my TV show in peace.
Yeah, just let me sit there quietly and just watch it.
I don't want to argue with idiots on the internet.
Yeah, and that's a whole subject in itself. There are people who live their lives on Twitter or X, and they fight with people, and they just get into this whole back tit for tat stuff, and it's just like all that negativity must really just affect people. I hate it. I hate the fighting. It's not just Doctor Who; it's the tribalness of it all.
Yeah, but people also end up with their own echo chamber of just seeing supporting views, and then suddenly they go, "Oh, everyone agrees with me because all I see on social media is stuff that's the same as me." Algorithms are evil, basically, guys.
Yeah, because what I do with Twitter when I do go on it is I try and follow both sides, because you get into an echo chamber. And for a while I was oh yeah, I agree with people. And I think, well, actually no, hang on a minute, what are the other sides saying? Because I just want a bit of a balance to understand.
Yeah,
because I think you've talked about before, you can't have a debate with someone anymore. It's that right and wrong.
No.
But debating is a skill in itself, to actually listen to someone go, I don't believe you, but I'm going to listen to you, and then I'm going to provide a counter argument. No, it's now you're wrong.
Yeah,
that's the end of it.
Yeah, I think that's the thing, to actually have a well-constructed argument with, no, you're just a dickhead. You go, well, actually, no, you've not listened to a thing this person has said. You just call them a dickhead because they don't agree with you. And it's like even the stupidest things. I see like random things on Twitter or Facebook, and be like, oh, if these two superheroes were to fight, which one would win and why? And some of them are literally, this one wins because they're the best. And then the next person goes, no, they're not the best. This one's the best. And you go, fuck me gently. This is just ridiculous. And then other people are trying to give a fully realised critique of actually going, well, actually, this person has these abilities, but this person has these abilities, and therefore if you compare one with the other, actually this one should probably win. But actually, depending on what the writer wants to do, blah, blah, blah. And that version versus you're a dickhead, mate, is so far missing. Like I said, people don't have a conversation anymore. There's no agreeing. It's just, you're wrong. I don't like you.
So, bring it back to Doctor Who.
We went off on a tangent there, didn't we?
well, that's what people want. They want the grumpiness.
Alex, grumpy old man.
No.
I'm going to get shouted out for this.
I think, in conclusion, looking forward to Christmas. I think Ncuti will be entertaining. It'll be interesting to see. My worries are with RTD and his writing, if he goes off on one. But hey, we'll just see how that pans out. Yeah. I thought these 3 episodes weren't the 60th. They were the 3 episodes to get it back on track.
Yeah.
And I was a bit disappointed in the way that they killed off 14A.
Or didn't kill him off. Yeah.
I'm going to sit down and work out these numbers because I'm really confused.
Yeah. Yeah. I think, like you said, they were 3 episodes of Doctor Who. They're all right. There was nothing groundbreaking. Was it the 50th? No. Was it bad? No. It was all right. It was watchable with some asterisks. It was fine. And I think, to be fair, that's probably damning with praise because it was simply fine. Give it 6 weeks, I'll have forgotten about it.
Yeah.
And I think that's the problem. The 50th, you go, oh yeah, that was good. There's a War Doctor, and they brought Rose back as this bad war thing, and you go, oh, that was really cool. And this, you go, oh yeah, there was 3 episodes of Doctor Who, and I think that's going to be the problem where it just was. It will be one of those episodes where you go, yeah, that happened, didn't it? It'll be the absorbal off. Where you go, that was an episode of Doctor Who, apparently.
Yeah, it happened, and we just moved
it
on.
happened, and no one cared.
Yeah.
And I think that's the issue we've got here. The 60th happened, and it was nice to see all the old Doctors doing like media tour and all, like promoting everything. But actually, the episodes themselves were all right.
Yeah,
they're average. And again, online, you've got 2 sides. That was the worst thing ever, or that was perfect and couldn't be improved in any way, shape, or form. Yeah, and you go, well, both of these sides cannot be correct, and you're both wrong.
Yeah. So we rolled into Christmas.
It did what it needed to do. It got us willing to watch Christmas.
Yeah, and it got us excited for Doctor Who again, which, again, we touched on, didn't we? We were getting excited for these episodes. And I think I learned the lesson that I got too excited and I should have brought my expectations down a bit. But at the same time, I was surprised the direction they went.
Yes. I think that's summed up quite well. So will we meet again before Christmas? Or
are we going to do a recording on Christmas Day? Look at that.
Oh, could you imagine?
We could do it.
Could you imagine?
Straight after the episode. Roll straight into it.
I mean, we could. That's a bold plan. I will be full of turkey. But no, all joking aside, is there going to be an interlude in between now and Christmas? So are we going to have Doctor Who again, or are we going to talk about the politics of America and Britain and how it changed in 2005?
It sounds like our audience wants us to go deep into the weeds of the populism and the rise of the new right and far left. I don't know. We've got 2 weekends before the 25th. Obviously, we're going to record at some point after the 25th the review of Doctor Who. It won't be as efficient as these reviews have been. I don't know. I think we need to reconvene and work out whether we can squeeze another one in. Maybe a supplementary. Maybe we should do, and this is live, folks. We normally don't do this conversation. We should have a supplementary episode if we can squeeze it in. What is our favourite Doctor Who episode or story? One from the classic, one from New Who. Maybe just discuss that as a bit of a aperitif. That might be quite good.
Your favourite episode and why?
Classic and New Who. I think that's 4 altogether.
Yes. Yeah, that's good.
Yeah, that might be quite good.
Depending on how quickly this is going to be out, dear listeners, what are your favourite episodes of New Who and Classic Who, and why?
Yeah, there you go.
And whether we agree with you. And what do people think our favourite episodes are?
Oh, that'd be good. Yeah.
Well, some people might know mine.
I probably can guess the New Who one. And I don't know about old Who. I could probably pitch which Doctor it would be and the reason why, the 2 reasons why, and then I can go from there. There you go. Spoilers.
I'm cancelled. Yeah, I'm cancelled.
Yes, that's good. Yeah. We shall do that.
Yes, perfect. Cool. I think that brings us nicely to end this episode.
Yes. Until next time, folks, we'll try and cheer up a little bit, and we'll see you soon.
Yeah. Ta-ta.